be a part of it.
The whole chit chat. That is the whole chit chat. Here we are. We are live. Happy birthday to America, everybody. Hope you had a good 4th.
Happy birthday, America.
Yeah, America. No, I had a great 4th. I'm not sure what you got up to, but I had a good weekend.
I built some fucking rockets.
Of course you did.
And then went out and watched fireworks and had some drinks.
Hell yeah. That's what it's all about. I did about the same. I had a younger coworker who came over and he wanted to do a bunch of drinking games. So drinking games we did. So that was that.
Tell me you kicked his butt.
No, dude. I was dying over here because I was drinking before he came over. I pre-gamed at 4:00 like an adult because I wanted to be in bed by 10 and he wanted to start drinking games at 8.
Bro, what rational adult is in bed by 10 on July 4th?
Dude,
no one in my neighborhood.
The fireworks were all done by 9. Okay.
No, bro. My neighborhood, the mortar shells were still going off at 2 a.m.
Yeah, not like, here. I guess
not little snap bangs and sparklers. We're talking about, the
M80s,
the 54 millimeter mortars.
That's funny. So this is going to be obviously a much less formal show. We're putting together the stock draft. So this is kind of like the pre-show to what we'll be doing on Wednesday, which is the stock draft. So we're going to figure out basically how many people we want to be in this thing. And then we also are going to figure out how to do the signups. So it should be a good time. So the idea we wanted to do a snake draft, right, Dougie?
Right.
So it would be like whoever starts, they would end up getting the second to last pick. So it would look something like, say, player 4 started. They chose Google, and I'll just start spamming tickers here. And I'm just making the funniest picks here. Okay. So if this is what they all pick, and then it comes back around to these guys, and they do Palantir and Hood, then now player 2 would now get the first pick. So they would be able to do sorry, there's a fly in here. So now player 2 would get the second round first, and then we'd go back the other way. Yeah, so we'd go Micron, APLD, and then back over to 10.
Yeah. Intel, App11. Corning or VG, yeah.
What even is Corning? I forget that ticker. I'm a novice.
Is it CRW?
I don't think so, but
I can check. It's in my port.
I'm putting some hilarious names in here right now.
There's also, CoreWeave, IREN.
Yeah. So that would be like the first 2 rounds. That's what it would look like. So if player 3 got the first pick and they chose Google, they would also get the last pick of the second round for CoreWeave, and then they would get the first pick for the third round. So you get the first and the last pick of each round. And then if you are on this side of it, where you got the last pick of the first round, you would get the first pick of the second round. So that way it kind of balances out.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's something we wanted to do because it didn't feel fair if someone got the first pick in every round. And then we also didn't want people to be able to select the same company someone else had, because what we ended up with last year was most people had like probably 60% of the same stocks across all their portfolios.
Almost everyone had
Delta. there wasn't enough change. Like everyone went up and went down together in those like half of each of their ports.
All right. So the next thing we want to figure out is how many people do we want in this? We can do like a sign up registration, like a Survey Monkey, something like that.
Yep. Yeah. I would say no more than 16, but I'll be surprised if we get a full 8. But I think what could be fun is if we do this on, and then we got to talk about how long it's going to be too. Like a year is a long time to keep it going. But like if we did like 6 months, then you could have a playoffs.
So
And you
pick
get
really for
ranked.
the first 6 months and then do an elimination and narrow it down.
Yeah.
I like that.
So a multiple of, of 4 or of 2 basically, right? So you'd have 2, 4, 8, 2 to the power of whatever, right?
So this would be like really short
2, 4,
term.
8, 16. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, we're really not like doing any long term investing at all. Like this is pure swing trade.
Yeah. Well, we can make it a year if you want, but I'm just thinking like
I do like your idea better. I mean, 1 year
extra punch at the end, right? Is set up a playoffs, and then it's like, no, this is a 2-week round, and you get like 4 picks or something, right?
So what if it was 9 months, 2 months, and then 1 month? That would make it a year.
Yep. Okay, so 9 months is the regular competition. 2 months would be the first round of the playoffs. So if we had 8 people.
So what if you had to add to your team? So like you get your first 10 picks, right?
Yeah.
So you get your 10 picks here. And say like this player gets eliminated, right? Player 5, 6, 7, 8, they all get eliminated, and like we're down to 4 people for the next round.
Yeah.
Then what you can do is between the 4 people who are left, you can pick what you want, and anyone who's been eliminated, those names come back on the board. But you still have to keep all of your original picks for the whole year. But now at this point in the playoffs, you're just getting to add more.
So I was thinking the other way. So let me put that idea out there, and then we'll hash them back and forth, okay?
Okay.
And we can compare, contrast. And I want to get people like Haas's input as well. So what I was thinking is you get to pick, like for the playoffs, it gets the company numbers get smaller, right? Just like any other sport, you get down to the playoffs, you got to cut your roster, right? Back down to your playoff level. So, you get 5, and then you get to pick, let's say one that hasn't been claimed, that's like sitting out there. So you can add a super high beta or something if you're going for it.
So like of the 10 that you have left, then you have to narrow it down to 5?
Yep. You have to narrow it down to 5. And then for the last week, we can go, yeah. Or for the last month, we could go, yep, blah, blah, blah. Or dude, we could even like let options be in the game for the playoffs. Because we could track a short-termish contract like that,
So then playoff round 1 would be you have to narrow it down to 5.
Yep. And you can add 1 from whatever's going on, because it's been 9 months since the draft, right? So the macro may have changed.
So 6 months or 9 months? 9 months?
9 months. So you can take 6. Okay, so it would basically be this. Okay, you move forward with 6. It could be from your 10, or you could pick 5 and then bring 1 extra on. Does that track?
Yeah. So like this.
Yeah.
And then how long would this round be?
You said 9 months, 2 months, 1 month. So, well, it depends how many people we have. I think. If we get 8, then we would do 2 months, 1 month. If we get 16, a full bracket, then you just do 3 rounds of 1 month each.
And then you want this one to include options?
Don't you think? That would be awesome. And then like Nono said, you could even do crypto.
Ooh,
Let it
okay.
all in. Like, which one is the most degen? Like, you've got 1 month to make money. Go.
Okay, but if we're gonna do crypto, can we put a market cap requirement?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do like what's reasonable, like 500 million.
Top 100, whatever they are, top 100 coins on or what is it? Crypto market cap.org or whatever it is. I've got the link in here.
What's the site that tracks that?
Coin Market Cap does it.
Coin market cap, that's right.
I mean, there's other ones, but like as long as we just pick one.
So I want to look through some of these companies, or some of these not companies, some of these coins here. Let's see. So we'll sort by market cap here. So like already just in the top 20, we're already getting into stuff that I've never heard of before.
Well, you don't really follow crypto at all, to be fair.
Still, like what is DAI? Like what is this?
It's been around a long time.
What is Canton? Dude, I know Canton as a city in Ohio. What is Canton?
I've never seen Canton. But Chainlink, Monero, Stellar, Zcash, those are all old school ones.
But like Dogecoin is still
Litecoin used to be the number 3. Hedera's been a long time. Sui's been around a long time. Avalanche has been around a long time. Hey, PayPal USD.
World Liberty Financial, isn't this Trump coin?
Probably. I mean, he's a POTUS.
How about top 50? Because like once we get outside of top 50, we're now purely into shitcoin territory.
No, Dash is 85. VeChain is 88. Like those are legit projects.
I just feel like one of them can get pump and dumped, and then like you can win the competition on some shitcoin getting taken on a flyer.
Yeah, but it won't be your whole port though.
Still, as
yeah,
we saw with like the last stock draft, like didn't Amit win purely because of AMD and like Micron?
Well, he did have Hood and Palantir disappear on him.
Yeah, but like what really makes you win is getting like an 8x or a 10x. Like that's what makes you win. So like the rest of your other 8 picks can be a disaster if you have like 2 picks that just go off.
Yeah, well, I mean that's how a lot of investing works. Is your winners pay for all the losers and then some.
Yeah, we are gonna have a sign up.
But if you want to make it 50, then 50, like whatever you're comfortable with.
I think top 50 is fine because like these are mostly coins that people have heard of, right? Like Polkadot and Ripple.
Yes, Hollis, you can make your own meme coin if it's in the top 50 of coin market caps. That you can pick it.
Okay, so that's what we'll do.
Of it that fast.
Do we want to make this for the whole duration? Top 50 crypto coins?
No, I was like, it would be just the last month.
Oh, just the last month. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I don't care. Like, make it the top 100. Like, if you go all in on Fartcoin, then and it pumps for you, then it's it's how it feels getting rivered. I know you do, and that's what it would be, right? Somebody comes in with the river.
So would it still be a selection of 6 then at this point?
Oh, what do you think? Pare it down even more?
No, I mean, this is already pretty significant change adding in crypto plus options. So I feel like that gives you enough flexibility that you could stay with 6. But I think you should have to keep half of them. So between playoff round 1 and playoff round 2, you should have to keep 3 out of your 6.
Yeah. Yep. 3 out of your 6. So you can only overly add that much leverage.
Right. Otherwise, everyone's just going to do like monthly short dated OTM options to the hill.
Yeah, but those could all go to 0.
They could.
Like if you're equal weighted and one of your options plays goes to 0, that should be one of the crypto things too. Is nothing. It's 1 month or shorter contracts, or 1 month only contracts. Not like, oh, I'm gonna buy a leap and I'm not subject to the theta decay. Like all the risk has gone out, right?
So you want to limit what expiries you can buy here?
Yep. So the option would just be the end of the month of the contest.
And we'll do 60 to 90 day expiry.
Well, it would just be if the last one is a month, then it would just be 30.
30?
Yeah.
Well, it might not fall perfectly with the alignment.
True.
Yeah.
So 30, 40 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah. 30, 45. I just don't want someone to buy like a 1 year leap, and so the theta decay doesn't matter at all, and so all you get is delta.
Okay, and for the first, so playoff round 1, we want to eliminate half, and then we'll do the same thing on this for eliminate half of the players.
Yeah. I mean, part of me wants to keep people in and engaged, right? So like actual elimination after the first 9 months. I don't know. Should we use the 9 months just to determine seeding, or should that be half elimination?
Seeding for what? For the 6 picks?
Yeah, for the playoff rounds.
So basically, if you win the first 9 months, you get to pick whatever you want for the next round for your 6th pick.
Yep. Yeah, you'll get the first pick, and you'll be going up against whoever was last.
What do you mean by that?
So that's who you'll be paired against, because it'll be a playoff knockout, right? So
just knockout round at that point?
Yeah.
Like a bracket?
Yeah, playoffs. We'll have a bracket.
So how do we eventually get to one winner here with the bracket?
Keep knocking people off.
How often? So like if I got paired up against you, how do we know, like when do we know who won between Dougie and Austin?
Okay. Well, if we got paired up, that would mean because I'm number 1 and you're last place.
That could happen.
Zing. Zing. So what do you think? Come on, chat, throw some ideas. Okay, so it's going to depend on how many players we have, because if we want to get down to one winner, you just work backwards, right? So how many rounds do you need? Yes. Should we just do it weekly?
I think doing like the head-to-head bracket is a little bit too crazy, especially because we've already got like additional things going on over here.
Yeah, well, it just means you have to beat one person. You don't have to be like the best investor of all time. You just have to beat your opponent.
I think we should have just like the playoffs, right? If you sucked during the regular season, which is these 9 months, you don't get into the playoffs.
Okay, so if you suck, aka maybe you don't even participate the whole time.
I mean, you're participating for 3/4 of it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Do we have any ideas in the chat? We're looking to you guys because you guys are going to be a part of this shit too. For like SBET and BMNR, I feel like we can include those in the original, the first round.
Oh yeah, they're stocks.
Yeah, they're listed tickers. It depends on how many people we have in. That's also true.
Yeah, so like if there's 8 people, then you need 8 to 4 would be one round, 4 to 2 would be another round, and then the championship would be the third round. So like if you wanted to say that you even do like a week, we could do the knockouts on Wednesday on the show. There's your 1 week kicker once we get to the playoffs.
So how many rounds would we need? Because if we have 16 people, then we get to knockout rounds for round of 8. So that would be 1 week to get to round of 4. Would be 2 weeks would be to get to round of 2. So we would have just 3 knockout rounds at that point if we had 16 people total.
Yeah.
So then this would be playoff round 3.
Yeah.
What? So we want these to be weekly rather than monthly. These playoff rounds.
Well, I was
because we could make this 11 months.
Yeah. And then the last month is the tournament, and it's just every week we do the knockout, and the price is whatever the price is when we go live on the show. Weekly knockout.
So then nobody gets knocked out here. Everyone gets to stay in. And since we're going to do weekly knockout rounds, it'll just resolve itself pretty quickly.
Yeah. So then if we just go to knockout rounds, so the first 2 rounds, say just the first 2 rounds would be you get your 5 out of your 10, you can add 1, whatever. And then the last 2 are like the final 4 and the finals get the crypto and options. We think that way we're not having to track that for a whole bunch of people. It'd be 4 players at most that we're having to keep up with all options pricings and stuff.
A weekly knockout round is so intense. Like you have to be exactly right in terms of like your crystal ball, what's happening this week.
Yep.
Like is Trump going to tweet something good or something bad?
Yep. And is he going to do it on Wednesday and reverse your whole port with 1 hour before market close? Like I said, so you don't have to be Stanley Druckenmiller. You just have to beat, you don't have to be Stephen Fiorillo, the number 3 writer on Seeking Alpha. You just have to beat the person you're up against.
So we want the same rules to be here for round 3. You still have to keep. Oops, I don't know why it said 7. So when we start the playoffs, you'll have 6 tickers. Starting round 2, you'll be able to do crypto and options, but you're only going to have 3 tickers for the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So 3 tickers. Ultimately, you're basically all in. You're totally degenning at this point.
Yep. I think that would be because we've been serious investors for 11 months, and now it's time to get our degen silliness on, right? That's how I see it. Like, there's no real prize at the end of this rainbow other than bragging rights and fun. Hopefully fun that everyone has.
Now, if we get like 14 or 10, we might throw in a buy round for whoever the top 2 seeds are.
Yeah.
Right.
Or we just recruit someone later in the year too. Like you would just get seated at the bottom. Like as long as we get the playoff bracket full at the end of the year.
Yeah, but there's possibility that could happen. Someone gets a buy.
Yeah. I mean, Selena could get a port, like.
Yeah. She's been, looking at DoorDash because she reads through like TikTok and stuff, pretty normy, and like she sees people complaining all the time about like how they're broke and they don't have any money. Meanwhile, like we're both looking at like DoorDash's income statement and we're like, hold on, people don't have money and they can't afford life. Why is DoorDash making so much money? So
Yeah.
she's had that revelation, which is pretty entertaining.
And hint, it's not Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are not using that much DoorDash.
Okay, so how do we want to get a sign-up sheet for this going?
Okay, I think you said SurveyMonkey would be a good place to start.
I know they do a good job with surveys, but
what about just a Google form?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Okay. So it's just going to be called Money Mobster Stock Draft here.
Who'd be really fun to watch now that we've come up with this format? Like Jason would be really cool to watch in that.
Well, you know how I feel about technical analysis. It's not really my jam. If it works for him, great. I don't subscribe to it really like at all. I think watching like the news is probably going to be like the most helpful, and just like seeing what's overbought or oversold.
Yeah.
But if the TA works, the TA works,
I mean, the old Bitcoin looking super technical is my background. Look, I did not draw this fib chart today, boys and girls. Like that retracement line was a hard support twice now. That was like 58 or so. It's literally called the golden pocket.
So why, and I know it's not your place to like defend Michael Saylor here, but why is Michael Saylor selling shares and then acting like he's like, well, I never said that. Oh my gosh, I got hit with a sneeze attack.
If you bought Bitcoin because Michael Saylor told you to, you're dumber than I thought. And you deserve to lose all your money.
Savage. Dougie telling it like it is.
If you held your Bitcoin because Michael Saylor was buying, you deserve to lose all your money. Like if you don't understand, if you bought something you don't understand, you deserve to lose all your money.
That's funny. Okay, so here's what we've got.
So do we want to have a 3-day sign up, or I was actually thinking that might be a little short because some people won't be watching today. They might not hear about it until next Wednesday. So do we want to promo for a week and then
that works.
Get the word out for a week and then we'll draft on whatever is the 15th.
So it should be, it's published. Here we go.
Okay.
Let me throw it in here. Yeah, we can close it like what? Like an hour before the show or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Boom, there she is. Let's make sure that works. Cool. There's the response. Awesome. So it seems like it's working.
Will we get like a email address or something to send to them from that?
Ooh, you're right. Because we'll need
some kind of contact info to have them get their picks in.
okay.
Or we'll probably have to set up like a Zoom call or something and stream that.
Or we could just do a big giant StreamYard. How many people can we host in here?
I don't know. I paid the full amount, so however many they let us do.
All right. Google is telling me 10 people simultaneously.
Okay.
What are we going to show us here?
I was just saying this. You were saying technicals, and I'm just look at that 618 Fibonacci pocket. I mean, that is. I didn't draw these Fibonacci levels. Like, this was just put together, but I never know what it's going to do when it hits the levels, but they are pretty clearly defined. So I know you're not a technical analysis guy, but it exists for a reason. And I've done pretty well on it this week.
I think it might be one of those things that if enough people believe it's true, then it does become true. Like, even if in theory it shouldn't work because the price action doesn't actually tell you anything about the name. But like, if enough people believe that the patterns of a chart tell you something, and enough people take action based on their thought that pattern tells you something, therefore it becomes. You know what I mean?
Well, that might be true, or it certainly is. But there's also a lot of the data that was used to develop the technical analysis theory was from long-time historical stuff. So, it was based on pricing and pricing structures that existed back when the stock market was basically in-person trading, and none of that information would have been published live.
So to get you a StreamYard link, should we just do it through WhatsApp? I can send them out through WhatsApp.
Sure. Yeah, we could just make a WhatsApp group for the for when people join. We'll just add them to a WhatsApp group, and then we'll send the ballot out. Well, I guess we won't need to send out a ballot, but we can send out the list, a finalized list of rules. Do you think so for the companies that you can buy, I'd say you have to be able to buy them on Robinhood in the United States. Is that a large enough pool?
So what I'm going to do to get phone numbers to send it out through WhatsApp, I'm actually just going to delete this survey. Okay. I'm going to create a new one that also asks for phone number. That way I can just send them out. That way I don't have to do a second round of, hey, what's your phone number?
Yeah.
Let's try this again. Yeah, that should do it. Nice and simple. What's your name and your phone number?
Yep.
Cool.
Let's go.
All right, Hollis, I'm gonna have you redo that one. Although I obviously have your number, but it's all good. Okay. So let's see. I want to test Gemini here. Let's see if Gemini can make us a little bracket here. I was playing around with this before we went on air.
Okay, well, it understands a bracket.
You would hope so, right?
Yep.
So this would kind of be like the 9-month segment.
Yep.
So going back to this thing here.
Oh, somebody had asked earlier about using 2 or 3 X's or something like that to add weight. I have a concept for that. So, but we're figuring out how we're going to end the competition and determine the winner. But I do have an idea for that. That could be fun.
Okay, so basically this segment is 11 months to determine the seeding, where just everyone is in here, one big happy family. Then we've got round 1, round 2, round 3.
Yep.
And we don't know if it's actually going to be 8, so it might look slightly different than that. You know, there might be, if we end up having 10, there might be someone who has like a bye
figure
up
out what to
here
do
or
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the basic concept of it. Okay,
The judges reserve the right to change the rules in the middle of the competition for no reason other than to make the competition work.
So what are your thoughts on like the 2x, 3x daily?
Oh, okay. So you can do 2x, 3x dailies, fine, whatever. Like, but one of the things I think we saw from the stock drafts that ran last year was they were essentially all equal weighted, right? So what if, and we think this through as we go, because I'm famous for not thinking and talking first. So what if your first pick is weighted at 1x, your second pick is rated at 2x, your third pick is rated at 3x. So as you go, or maybe it should be inverse. So like your first round pick is 10x the position size. Like if you were building an actual port, right?
10x is
10
crazy.
stocks in it.
So
well, it just means that it's 10x times the 10th round pick.
Yeah, but that would mean like the top 3 picks are like the only thing that matter. So maybe a little bit more gradual than that, so we could have like a multiplier. So I've got an idea.
So it changes every second round or something like that. Oh
So
yeah, every time it goes through the snake.
Maybe like 1.5x, 1.4x, 1.3x, 1.2x, 1.1x, 1x, and then you get down to like 0.9x, something like this. Oh wait, you can't see what I'm doing. Of course you can't.
To be fair, though, the size of the screen that StreamYard shows me, I can't read that either. So I have to like go totally full screen to see your sheet here. Okay, that's a concept. So here's the other idea I had is You might be like, so 3x would be round 1 and round 2, like the first way through the snake, and then the multiplier changes the second round through the snake and the third round through the snake. So you go through the snake 5 times, right?
Right. Oh, so like both of these would be 1.5x, and then like
Yeah,
both of these would be 1.3x.
yeah.
1x, 1x. These could be 0.8, 0.8. These could be 0.6, 0.6.
So yeah, something like that.
That way, it's really a scrap for like your first 2 picks are going to be the most important. Actually, I like this a lot. But this would get scrapped though as soon as we get to the playoffs.
Yep. Because then it's just equal weight on the, or at least in my mind, unless somebody can present a better concept. Yeah, so you don't just get NVIDIA, you get 1.5 times NVIDIA, right?
To the upside and the downside.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you wanted to go Nebius there, you have a much larger chance of getting totally screwed than if you went NVIDIA, right?
Right. And what this also means is you can go a little bit safer here on the top if you want, because you do have a multiplier. So like if you think
Visa,
like Visa, if you think Visa is going to have like a 30% up year, that may not make sense to do in like a regular stock draft. But if you want it to be here in this slot for 1.5x,
you
like
get
a 30% then turns into 45%. Now it looks a lot better.
Yeah, but can you beat the person who put BMNR there?
We'll see. Draft for what? Matt Money asked. We're doing a stock draft. He acts like he's never seen one of these, even though he participated in them.
Matt knows he's better than me. It's okay.
Yeah, I sent Matt a whole bunch of pictures of the drive I did on Friday. I sent you some of them too, like of the route that I went on.
Oh yeah, they were gorgeous, man.
I'm trying to get him to come out to Arizona. It's like a solid 15-hour drive before he even gets out here. But like some of the roads we have out here are just so much fun to drive. Like twisties, views for days. People are sleeping on how pretty Arizona is.
Can confirm. Like you took me out on some of those roads. Like it was gorgeous out there.
Oh, but like if you keep going, so I did like 10 hours on Friday. If you keep going, you get into like aspen trees and meadows and like deer. Like it's not just all desert. It gets pretty gnarly. So yeah, I had a great time. I think we actually, is this the final form? I actually like this a lot.
That does look fun. Okay. It looks like it's actually kind of competitive. Rewards good sound, at least for 11 months of the year. Rewards good sound investment strategy.
It still is a year though. Like I don't invest with a year time horizon. So like none of this is in my wheelhouse. Like I invest for 3 to 5 years out usually, but yeah, 11 months is certainly better than 1 week to Jennings.
Come on, bro. How long have you held your app loving?
My app loving? Dude, multiple times because they keep saying things and then taking it back a week later. Like they did that. They said on an earnings call, like, yeah, we're guiding for 25 to 30% growth, but like every single time we've reported to you guys, have we ever reported that low? And it's like, okay, that sounded bullish. And then the stock went up. And then the very next week they went into some conference and they're like, well, we kind of got ahead of ourselves on the earnings call. There's a reason that we guided to 25%. It's like, what the hell is management doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not the only one in that camp, by the way. That seems to be, just about every single app loving person who's been following the story for a few years, as they're in the same boat as I am of like, why is management being so inconsistent? We have to find
maybe they're playing, a video game during a conference call.
Maybe. I don't know what they're up to, and I'm not really trying to find out anymore. They done pissed me off, Dougie. They pissed me off. Okay, so we want this to this round needs to end June 16th.
Yeah.
And then this round
that'll be during IREC. I'll be in the desert that week.
So do we need a different date then?
Can we just make it June 1st? Close enough.
June 2nd?
Well,
because then you would miss the next week.
Yeah.
So what about June 16th?
That's, like I said, that's the week I'm in the desert, third week of June.
Okay. So then 23rd?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be a little over a year, but that's fine.
Well, by the time we actually get the draft in, and
July 7 and July 14. Okay. Like this?
Yeah. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
I thought you were a mod, Matt. Madman, I know
that. That's fine. I'll make him a mod.
He ghosted me on our July 4th plans.
There we go. Matt Money, you're now a moderator. He successfully guilt tripped us into it.
When you're used to seeing the blue wrench next to your name, it's hard not to.
Fair enough. Okay, so for our first round, this 11-month, I do want to have just a few rules here. Can we do no sub $500 million market caps for at least the standard?
Basically, you'd be saying that
like those are very small companies.
You would have said that the entire quantum industry would have been disqualified in 2024.
Under 500?
Yeah. I don't think there was a single quantum company that was over 500.
But we know that like most of these companies who are penny stocks, they're long shots, right?
Yeah.
What about must be listed? How about that?
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you can buy it on Robinhood, I feel like that's just let Robinhood be the deterministic, because like honestly, what we haven't seen is a rash of people like finding the smallest companies that no one's ever heard of to buy outside of like Siege and Tess, and they don't miss. So like, if that's how I hear about those companies, please let me hear about them. You know what I mean? Like, if someone's picking this, it's in our community. It's not, they're not just like a random degen from Twitter showing up, pulling up a bunch of tickers no one's heard of.
Okay. All right. Trades allowed?
Yep. In the US.
In the U.S.? No, I just mean between the players. So like
Oh,
if I want to trade you Corweave for Nebius or something, like we can trade.
I don't see why not.
Okay.
I mean, that's y'all's business.
What else?
What about changes? I mean, if the macro goes against you and you're just out, let's just say AI is just it's done, it's cooked. It they find out it's a fraud. None of this stuff actually works at all.
Michael Burry's right.
Yeah, none of this Gemini stuff is actually an AI. There's like literally like tens of thousands of Filipinos chained to keyboards typing the responses that you think are getting automatically generated by Gemini. So then all your AI trades are totally dead. Are you out of competition, or do you get an opportunity to?
No, that's the risk you take for making all of your picks in one sector, is it not?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, or Hollis has the actually a better point. Do you know how much Amit would have crushed the first stock draft if he'd have been able to exit Robinhood anywhere near the top?
Okay, so what about so you get as many trades allowed as you want, and that has to be a two-way trade, right? Like player to player trade. But if you want to do each person should get to do one sell and rebuy. But if you rebuy, if someone else has that name, it's off the board. So
yeah, you can't rebuy something someone else already has.
And once you give up that name, right? So
someone else can pick it up.
Yeah, someone can pick it up. So if you get rid of Hood and you go buy something like Fannie Mae or something crazy, then someone else can now sell one of their holdings and pick up your Hood.
I like it.
So I feel like between the waiting, the playoffs, the trading, like this is all very dynamic. I like it. Do we want to set a timer? I feel like we should do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
60 seconds or 40
for the actual draft.
Yeah.
I would say 3 minutes for the first 4 rounds. 3 minutes for the first 2 rounds. 2 minutes for the next 2 rounds. 1 minute, because like that's what happens at every fantasy football draft too. Is everyone's like they're just ready to be done at the end, but someone takes like 17 minutes trying to figure out their kicker and their defense.
Then we'll just do 1 minute the rest of the way.
Maybe 2 minutes for round 5 as well. I mean 2 minutes for anything that's 1x, and then anything that's less, cut them off. Yeah, Hollis, that's a good way of putting it. You can drop and pick up a free agent stock.
Do we want to set a cap? Is 16 our max? People?
Oh yeah. I mean, bro, I love our concept, but we rarely have 16 people watching the show. So
hey, I'm just saying, like if we end up with like 28 people on here, it's gonna be a little crazy.
Yes. I think 16 has to be the max.
Okay. Okay. June asked a good question. So when does the draft start? We're actually going to be picking on Wednesday. So you actually need to be available at that time on Wednesday. It's 10 Eastern this Wednesday, which is normally when we have the show on Wednesdays. So 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. That's when we'll be getting to it. So you know, the Google form is going to close 1 hour before that. So if you sign up, just make sure that you can make that time. Dude, Matt's hilarious. Got booted out because he lost. Dude, it's fine, Matt. We'll take you.
Matt, we'll take you, bro. We'll pick you up like a discarded free agent.
We accept asylum seekers here, right, Dougie?
Yes. As long as they can afford the golden passport, which Maddie can.
Yeah, so if you're planning on entering the draft, it's actually going to be $250 to join our stock draft. No, it's not. It's going to be free. Cool. Anything else we wanted to do?
Okay, so that's our kind of little emergent thing. Do we want to kind of cover our more normal content?
What do you got?
Well, you had some trades over the week.
I did have some trades. Yeah, so I've been buying up a lot of Uber. I'm still working on putting all my thoughts together here on Uber, but I just feel like people are overestimating how fast some of these autopilot and cyber cab things are going to roll out. You mentioned that you've seen, for the first time really ever, a step back in the quality of FSD.
They corrected it. They patched it. I think they patched it 2 nights ago. We haven't talked since then, but there was another update, and I haven't been back in the same situation, but I haven't seen it behaving anything like that. But I'll know on the week. So what was happening was there's a left-hand protected turn lane off of a 5-lane highway. Okay, so 2 lanes each direction and a chicken lane, right? And so the line to turn left though was like 3 lights long. It's way longer than the paint on the road says it's the turn lane, right? And so there's actually like multiple side streets that it's stacked up past as well. And so the car just sits there and the steering wheel's going back and forth like this. You're in the turn lane, but the car's like freaking out, like wanting to get back in the traffic lane and get closer and then get back in the turn lane again because it thinks it's too far away from the intersection.
Right.
So it's not that the computer's confused, it's that it's showing you it's confused, and the steering wheel is just going bananas back and forth, which is not good for the tires on that heavy of a vehicle. Yeah, it's being a shook baby. So that was like the first step backwards in behavior that I felt like I've seen, where it didn't act like a person. Because sometimes people, they just get in line and wait patiently for their turn. And Tesla was not, the FSD was not doing that. But they did push in another update like 2 days later. And I have a feeling it had to do with that.
Okay.
But I won't know until this week and that intersection gets busy again.
So you're going to drive that intersection again later this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm actually meeting Shardul. Do you remember Shardul had had dinner with us and June in LA?
Yeah.
So he and I are getting together for lunch tomorrow.
Oh, cool. Yeah, when I come out for the game in November, we got to see how many Houston people we can, wrangle together on that Friday before we head to Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to wrangle people.
Yeah.
Everybody but Matt. And obviously not Roy, because Roy has never showed up at anything.
Well, we might have to bug him a little bit. He's got a family and stuff, right? He's
yeah.
Or does he have now more free time now that he's done with his PhD?
I imagine he's got more free time than he used to, but I think he's doing a good job of filling it.
Okay. Yeah. So for Uber, so there's what you told me about that, and I don't need to rehash how I've felt about Robotaxi rollout. Right, it's been pretty lackluster. It's on the slower side. There's
Being
lots
rolled
of
out in Miami.
yeah, but like they haven't even figured it out in Austin yet. Like it's still not a large scale operation in Austin, which is, do they have it figured out? Yes or no? That's a different question than like have they actually been rolling it out the way that they expected to? Not really. It's been a lot slower. And to be fair here, I'll throw some uh, some shade on Waymo a little bit. Um, Waymo has announced a few different cities like Denver, saying that they're going to be in Denver. So I've got friends in Denver, and they said literally they just saw the first Waymo ever in Denver, and that was like 6 months ago when they announced Denver. So they're not really rolling out extremely fast in some of these newer areas. Like, I mean, how many Waymos do you see in Houston? Probably not that many, right?
I've seen one.
Yeah.
And I was out, and we went downtown last night. You're thinking, oh, we had a World Cup game. It's July 4th.
Right.
Like, no, we had a World Cup game in Houston. And it's July 4th. You'd think the place would be humming with Waymos and Ubers and everything. Well, the Ubers and Lyfts were out, but there were no Waymos. And I know what a Waymo heavy town looks like now because I've visited your house and seen you pull up at a random intersection and 6 of the 8 cars are Waymos.
That's probably an extreme example, but it is possible. I have been in an intersection where 4 out of the 6 have been Waymos, and I was number 5.
Yeah, right.
The other thing is, some of the Luddite regulatory stuff that's happening on some of the coastal states. They seem full self-driving cars and autonomous vehicles are now seeming to get lumped into this category from degrowthers, people who basically just don't want any progress at all. And that narrative is, it's taking a little bit of hold from like some of the communist. So a lot of those markets, like a lot of the easiest markets to operate in, Waymo's already grabbed those. And Tesla is going to be looking at those same markets, right? The Texas markets, the Florida markets, Arizona, and even non-degrowther states like California. Even though
Texas is a degrowther state, it looks like right now.
Is it?
All of the like mid-level town mayors are all bragging about how they shut down a data center project.
All right. Well, but between that and then the production bottleneck, so when it comes to the Jaguars, Waymo's done making the Jaguars, or I should say Jaguar is done making the Jaguars. So Waymo is now having to partner with Zeekr, the Chinese automaker, and Hyundai. I have not seen a single Hyundai hit the road. I don't think they're operational on the Hyundai platform yet. And the Zeekr cars, they have rolled them out in Phoenix, but like on a very limited basis. So at some point, there's a bottleneck on getting these cars out on the road.
I cannot imagine a world where the current administration is going to be chill with allowing tens of thousands of autonomous Chinese robots onto the streets.
That's a very real concern as well.
I guarantee you they won't be allowed on military bases or government property at all. I mean, no shade against their vehicle. I'm just like, how many sensors are those things carrying and how much of it is just instantly being sent home all the time?
Now, from what I read on this, because I did look into this a little bit, the drivetrain and the car itself is the only Chinese part about it. Like all the sensors and whatnot, they're still made by the same company who made.
They can put all the sensors they want. For example, you have a recently new car. You have air pressure indicators in your tires, right?
Right.
Those aren't connected to the system in your car. Those are all wireless transmitters. Police government actually can track your vehicle from your tires. They don't even need your license plate.
Right.
They can track you from your wireless.
There's a real Trojan horse risk here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So with all that in mind, and considering that 40% of Uber's revenue is now food delivery, right? So just food and alcohol delivery, which is a whole nother wrinkle into not being able to be disrupted, because not only are there rollout, there's sludge in the rollout pipeline for just regular taxi rides, mobility rides, but for the food and beverage side, you have to make business connections with all those different vendors who sell, like Panda Express, Total Wine, all the Circle K's in the country, or Quick Trips, or whatever you have going on. You have to make all these different relationships with those vendors to sell the food on the platform. So if you want to sell Chick-fil-A, you can't just have a random robot show up at Chick-fil-A and be like, hey, give me my nuggies, right? You have to actually have that business relationship with Chick-fil-A so that when you go on the application, that is,
they know to send an employee out to that vehicle and put the nuggies in it.
Right. Exactly. So there's an additional layer there of all the business connections that Uber and DoorDash already have that would, once again, slow down any AV food delivery adaption. The other thing to think about too is Uber has 14.1 billion trips per year. 14.1 billion. Waymo is not anywhere close to 1 billion rides at all, period. The other thing to consider is about 30% of the trips that are done on Uber are US. The other 70% are outside of the US. Is Europe adopting autonomous vehicles? Not really. Can you use autonomous vehicles in India, Middle East, or Africa? Hell no, you cannot. Those roads don't support it, nor do the driving behaviors of those road users. So it sounds like a regressive argument that I'm making, but
if you expect the neural network can learn. If you want to train it in the United States on United States driving behavior and then take that software to India, install that driver there and tell it to drive, yes, it will be a problem. If you train it in India, it won't, it'll just be normal. It'll just be the normal neural net behavior. So don't overestimate, don't make too big a mountain out of that molehill, is what I'm saying.
But
the Western mind cannot comprehend the traffic laws of Southeast Asia.
Right. And that's why I think that it's actually going to be harder for autonomous vehicles to operate in those venues than it will on North American roads.
Only if it's discretely coded. If it's neural net learning, then it's not a problem.
But it's the training though. So there's going to be it took years and years of training just for Teslas to drive safely on roads in the US. It's going to be an even harder level to deal with all the sporadicness and road defaults and poorly marked road signs and traffic signals. These are all very real problems, right?
Not. It took them a long time because they were discretely coding. Once they got rid of that and they went all neural network in FSD, what was it, version 13? The thing learns so fast. But it learns off of video. So can you get enough video of drivers in, whatever country you think is terrible at driving? And
right. So how many people?
The software it just apes what it sees around it.
Sure. So if you need that training data though to do the neural network, how many Teslas are in India? Not hardly any.
I don't know.
So that's your ability to get that training data.
Yeah, but it scales logarithmically once it starts scaling.
Yeah, but that's probably going to be my argument, is that Uber is priced to be dead in 7 or 8 years. I think that what you're talking about doesn't catch on in places like India or the Middle East or parts of Africa. That stuff's not going to happen until at least 10 years from now. That's my bet.
No. It won't catch on for 2 years, and then it'll start, and then it'll be done in 9 months. S curve.
Yeah,
it starts feeding back in. It starts a feedback loop and starts feeding in on itself.
Yes, Tesla will S curve, You're correct on that. I agree with that. Tesla will see an S curve there once they crack the code. But if the S curve is so small, like the starting point is so small, how long until that S curve ramps and gets up high enough to where it actually starts to eat into Uber? Or, and here's the next point, do you see a pie expanding where instead of zero sum game, where it's Tesla giving more rides equals Uber giving less rides? I don't think that's likely. I actually see it more likely to where you're actually adding supply into a growing TAM. So
Yeah, I think that's and if you think about it, that's actually Elon's vision, is to have and the Uber guys, they both, like, their vision is not have cars sitting in parking lots or just sitting in driveways. Like if there's a car essentially on the network, that it is in use. That if there's a car that exists, it is on the road being used. So they play hand in hand that way, right?
Right. Yeah, and the comparison I would make is Uber and taxis. So when people were trying to figure out the total addressable market for Uber, they looked at the current taxi market and they said, okay, well, Uber's just going to eat all of this. So if the current taxi market is worth about $50 billion, then Uber should be worth like 35, 40, 50 billion, somewhere in that range. But what they failed to understand is that when you actually expanded the service and the use case of it, this was really famous with the Aswath Doramadoth, or the Dean evaluation.
Yeah.
And Bill Gurley wrote a really great piece on it saying how to miss by a mile that I would recommend reading. And I think this is kind of a similar situation here where it feels like if AV adoption goes berserk, even in the best case scenarios, Uber is still going to be just fine and they can grow into that. So if more rides, more autonomous vehicles, Uber is going to be just fine for a variety of different reasons because it's going to be slower adoption than what I think. Or if AVs just totally bomb, like Uber is going to be off to the races. Like if there's any significant slowdown in AV adoption, Uber is extremely undervalued here, not financial advice. Dude, they are. They're at like a 16 price to free cash flow right now. And their free cash flow, have you seen their free cash flow chart? Check this out. It's like a perfect line up and to the right.
So you and JCal are just going to get rich then. Okay.
Hey, man. It is what it is. Look, this is their operating cash flow. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. You don't see it starting to roll over on top, though?
No.
Okay.
You could have said it was rolling over right here in 2022, right? Oh, look, it's rolling over. Here's what it looks like quarterly. But this is what operating leverage looks like to me. And here's their margin on the income statement side. So they were burning lots of cash.
Yeah.
And then they got fit.
So now they're getting all this cash, they're coming in and they're getting to keep some of it.
Right.
And the percentage they're keeping is that by percentage? The percentage they're keeping is going up, or is that total?
For the operating margin?
The chart you just showed.
The operating margin, that's total.
Or?
That's total. That's operating income.
So what's their margin percentage?
Yeah, the operating margin is almost 12%.
Okay. See, so when I'm looking at stuff like that, I really don't care about the total operating margin. It's just let me track your margin percentage and your revenues, and that's all. And that tells me all I need to know. Really. If your revenue is going up and you're getting to keep more of your money, then that's all I need to know.
Right. Now this could
be. You can come up
with
a zillion other charts to try to show it, but it's all. You're just growing forest, and I can't see the trees.
The reason I think this is going to continue here is look at their trips. Like this is, people don't think of Uber.
Oh yeah, they have totally entered the zeitgeist as a they've jelloed, right? Like you could call a Lyft, but you're saying your friends you're getting an Uber.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
they have their company name is now the verb.
Yeah.
I can Google something on Bing all day long, but I'm still Googling it, right? Like I might use Bing or DuckDuckGo, but it's still Googling.
Right. Yeah, so trips are going up, monthly actives are going up. And then here's really the part that I like about it. Look at the delivery segment. Delivery is booming. It's growing and it's accelerating too.
Yep.
So
that's a company, like if you have faith in management, you hold that for 10 years. Like don't trade that off of one bad earnings report, or somebody goes on TV and says something that you don't understand, or you get pissed at, or they have a video game on their conference call. Like you just gotta look at the chart and hold it. Right? Now, it's like the app loving growth. Like the growth is the growth. Like
now Uber is at an 18 PE, so pretty cheap for a company that's growing top line 20%. That is obviously deploying operating leverage, like we just showed. And right now, their EV to free cash flow is 15.7. Nancy Pelosi.
Those are attractive multiples. Those are pretty attractive.
So this is actually, it's starting to remind me of Google a little bit. It's not quite as obvious here, but it does feel like if they lean into AVs, they still are the demand aggregator who's going to end up owning a lot of the AV fleet. And then if that doesn't play out and AVs lag, like this company is obviously undervalued, but right now they're being thrown to the side because like people don't care about companies that grow 20% if they have any AI disruption possibility at all right now. Everyone just tosses them in the trash bin.
Mm-hmm. One thing worth noting is, part of the robotaxi thesis that, or the vision Elon has been selling for a long time, was that you'll be able to have your own fleet of vehicles. Who's not to say that Uber won't operate a fleet of robotaxis?
Right. And they probably will. They've been investing in charging infrastructure, and they've been making investments into a lot of these AV startups.
Yeah. I mean, and they're good business people. They're not going to turn down a deal with Elon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they also have really good connections. So,
and they have had good connections with Tesla. Like they really encouraged their drivers to buy Teslas and had purchase programs that included Teslas.
And they have just good political connections with the White House. So the whole Invest America Act, when that was being pushed through, Dara, the CEO, he was one of the main people helping Gerstner push that through. So obviously J-Cal is a huge Uber person. So Nancy bought between $500,000 and $1 million of Uber stock. So, take that information for what you will. Quick side note, did you see Paul Pelosi got charged with a hit and run, but in California, it's apparently a misdemeanor, not a felony?
Was it just changed? Like,
I'm not sure when it changed.
We went to look for it and it's been changed.
So yeah, Matt, you tell us what Dara says next time you're in the West Wing. You let us know if you see Dara. So yeah, Uber feels like it's set up here, like it's priced for disaster. So it feels like it has a good margin of safety. Maybe it's a value trap. Maybe I'm stupid. Let me know in the chat or in the comments. But this is not a company that's slowing down. Like autonomous vehicles have been getting deployed for the last 3 years in a row, and it doesn't seem to bug Uber's numbers at all. If anything, they've actually massively improved over those last 3 years, even in markets like the California, Austin, Phoenix markets. Like there's no shortage of Uber drivers, let me tell you that. So yeah, I think it's one of those things that the market has wrong. It's a bit of a contrarian bet, but I've now made it an 8% weighting for me.
That's big for you.
Yeah, I mean, I like big position. I don't have many positions that are under 5%. That's just I'm a big concentration guy. What did you think of all the meta news? I wanted to ask you because I sold all of my meta last week to make this Uber trade because it seems like Meta's talking out on both sides of their mouth saying, hey, we're buying as much compute as we can get our hands on, but also, by the way, we're going to sell our excess compute. And that just doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm out.
I think we're going to have a little bit of a shakeup. It's been a straight line and an easy to see line. You know, big company has cash, they buy compute and build compute, and that's probably going to start being a bit more nebulous, not nebulous. What they're doing, not everyone is going to be doing the same thing with their compute, right? Like Amazon's buying it and Microsoft's buying it to build out their cloud services. Facebook's not buying it for a cloud service. So what were they buying it for? For their own models, for their own products? Well, Meta AI is still not incredibly useful, I think it's fair to say, especially on the things they really want you to use it for, like glasses and WhatsApp stuff.
Right.
I don't know anyone who's using it for any of that stuff. I mean,
I haven't heard of anyone saying that they use Llama either.
Yeah. Well, Llama was basically DeepSeek. The DeepSeek moment killed Llama. You haven't heard of Llama since the DeepSeek moment,
Right?
Right. They were like, oh, this is what a real open source LLM looks like, right? And Llama already wasn't purely open source anyway. I mean, so Aztec says, you know, Meta ordered too much. Well, did they order too much for their planned usage in 2027, 2028? Because I guarantee you they didn't order too much for their usage in 2035. You know, I mean, and like they're just, Meta's continuing to add new services too to their suite. So like their compute needs are not going to go down. So how much did they overbuy? Is it temporarily too much to fully monetize, and they can rent some of it out? It's like buying a 3-bedroom house when you only have one kid, right? But you know, if you have 3 more, then all of a sudden your 1-bedroom house is too small. Your 3-bedroom house is too small again, right?
Yeah, but they're kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth. So they're basically saying, hey, we're buying a 3-family house or a 3-bedroom house because we know that by the time the house gets built, we're going to have our 3rd kid. But if we don't happen to have our 3rd kid and we only have 2, we're going to rent out the room. Like that. I don't understand that strategy when you're telling everybody that like you're buying as much compute as you can get your hands on. They even have deals with like CoreWeave and Iren to buy compute from them.
Yeah, it beats the alternative, right? And if you're in an existential race to control, let's say it's the compute you control that matters.
Okay.
Right? It might not even be the compute you're using, but it's the compute you control, so that it's there when you need it. You don't have to wait for it to get built. I don't know. I understand a scenario where it's not a freaking emergency that they're not using every last, you know, processor cycle that is available to them right now or in the next 12 months. But it's you better have this future built when the future gets here, even if it's not here yet. You better be on your way to building it, and if you can find some other way to monetize it along the way, great. Different people have different strategies for that type of stuff, right? Like some people, they just save their money and then they go buy a house. Some people buy a house and rent it out to roommates, and then that's how they are able to afford the house much younger in life.
Let me try and put it a different way, like competitively. So say I'm a compute buyer and I'm in the market to buy some compute. My options are that I can buy from Google, Microsoft, or Amazon, who have shown through a significant period of time that they're dedicated towards building out compute for their customers to be able to use. And these companies do not have a track record of throttling their own customers' supply for their own benefit, right? Meta is basically saying here, hey, we're going to treat our own compute needs as primary. And should we have to have extra compute, we'll then sell it. Well, what happens if then they have extra today? We ink a contract with them. Hey, we're going to buy compute from Meta. And then all of a sudden Meta decides, well, actually we need it. We need more compute for internal use, and we're not going to sell it anymore. Like, the fact that they are not sitting in one clear defined strategy is going to cause them issues when they actually go to then sell that compute. So if I'm the buyer of compute, I'm going to go through Azure, GCP, or AWS because I know that the compute is going to be there. If we sign a deal, it's going to happen, rather than Meta. Like, they're not going to be as good of a long-term partner.
If you don't think big boy B2B there, that they can just like totally screw over their customers, and they're going to be okay, then I don't know what to tell you. But like, you do that once. If you actually do that once, you're totally screwed in perpetuity. No one will ever do a deal with you. But to maintain the option to do it means you have the leverage in case it's necessary, in case you have an existential risk.
Right. So what I'm saying, though, is like, say I do the deal with them, I buy compute. So I say I'm going to get 1 gigawatt from Meta for the next 12 months. And then 12 months go by, Meta reevaluates their strategy. And they say, actually, we want to use all of this compute because, once again, we're compute constrained. We actually didn't want to be in the cloud service business at all because it's more profitable for us to use the compute for internal needs to better our core business. Then what are you going to do? Like, Meta's now in a hard spot where they continue down a cloud service business that's not as profitable for them, or they have to, be a bad partner.
Okay. I don't think Zucks particularly cares as long as he has the flexibility he needs and he has the cash flows. Like, you're talking about, I don't understand why you don't like this. This sounds like they have come up with a win-win scenario really just for themselves, and everyone else is stuck with more risk than they have. Now, they may not be getting as good a pricing, and that's why it's not as profitable, because they're basically saying, well, we have first right on this compute. We'll sell it to you until we need it. But if we need it, you're going to have to go find your compute somewhere else. Well, exactly. if I'm going to buy that compute, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm not paying you the same amount. I'm going to pay someone who's guaranteeing it to me. So CoreWeave or whoever gets to buy the compute for less than they would pay for it at another supplier.
So the reason I don't
like the risk of not having it gets priced in.
They're saying both at the same time. They're saying, hey, we have the flexibility to sell a compute, but they're not understanding that the people who are buying compute, they don't want that flexibility. Like, the people who are buying compute, they want to know that the compute is going to be there for a sustained period of time. If 1 year they have excess compute and then the next year they don't, and like they can't offer you anymore, that's not as good of a business partner to be with than a cloud service provider who's already up and running and building out capacity specifically to resell to third-party people, not for their own first-party needs. Does that make sense?
But what if they're giving you 75 cents, a 25, 30% discount on what the big cloud providers selling?
Okay, then that's going to hurt.
Is the risk worth it for, like, at some point the price is attractive?
But that's
you're
going to
willing
hurt
to
Meta's
accept the
margin.
risk of needing to find another vendor in a crunch
If
because you get better
they
pricing.
have to lower prices because they've overbought on compute and they don't have as many cloud service applications. Like AWS and GCP and Azure, they have so many applications built on top of. It's not just compute. It is compute, but it's all the other tools that come with it. All the harnesses that they have on there, like Bedrock. Meta doesn't have any of that built out, right? So that's where it's like, okay, if I was a large enterprise and I'm trying to ink a deal where I'm buying compute, would I rather do it with someone who already has the tools built out, who is not gonna, like, Amazon is not sitting there saying, well, we have the flexibility to sell excess compute if we want to. Like, it's such a giant question mark if I'm the chief technical officer of a Fortune 500. That's just how I'm viewing it.
Okay. So you address the risk with pricing. This is a deal between two companies who have identified a benefit and a risk, and they're
Right.
going to put together, they're going to agree on a price that incorporates both sides of it, and they're going to go forward with a deal, or they're not.
That would hurt Meta's margins, though.
But it's going to raise their revenue. So you're going to have worse margin on revenue you didn't have.
I don't know. The core business is so strong that he gets the ability to take chances like this, and if it works out, great. But if it doesn't, he overbuys, and he overspends, like he did with Reality Labs and like he did with Metaverse. Like, people are starting to get pretty frustrated with him not having any discipline with his spending.
I have not reached the point where I care about whether or not the market thinks Zucks is making good ideas or good decisions. I think he's shown that he knows how to operate a business.
Of course, but he's also shown that
he continually earns the opportunity to try to make new markets. So do you want him to just like stop innovating and just sell ads on Facebook and Instagram and just do his thing and make his cash and not do anything else new? That's just not that's not who he is. That's too boring for him. He's got to be trying to conquer something else.
Yeah. So,
whether it's jujitsu or wakeboarding or whatever. Like, this is a guy who gets interested in different things and wants to pursue them. And he has one of the wealthiest people in the world, and he has one of the greatest companies in the world that affords him the opportunity to follow his curiosities.
Sure, but they're guiding for capex of 125 to 145 million or a billion. 125.
Okay, so what do you want me to do? Stop spending on capex?
No, I'm saying, like, take a measured approach to it, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Like, it doesn't have to be 0 or 145 billion. Like, it can be 20 billion. He can make the bet without going all in. The other thing is, too, if he was so laser focused right now, like, what is this arena thing that he's trying to do with prediction markets? Like, does that not seem like he is at a minimum unfocused right now?
Do we know that that's coming out of him? Like, I mean, we always assume it does because he's the CEO and founder, but I mean,
it's his company.
Sometimes you hire somebody who's got enough ideas and you just let them run with it and see if they can make anything out of it. Sometimes you hire someone who has a couple of good ideas and you let them pursue them occasionally.
I don't know. It seems like when your employee,
and he's not making the metaverse here. This stuff works in other places already. So he's copying something that's working.
Right.
But he also has a distribution that all the rest of those companies don't have combined.
That's true. But if you want your brand to, hold up, a lot of people
But we
already
know
have.
he doesn't care about his brand.
But it does matter, and here's why. A lot of people already know that social media is like not good for you, and there's a lot of arguments that can be made to say like the positive benefits it has. I've made those arguments before. Like WhatsApp delivers messages to a billion people throughout the world that otherwise wouldn't have SMS service. That's a huge plus. Everyone agrees on it. Even Messenger and Instagram DMs have connected people. That's all fine and good. But a lot of people have this negative view of social media. I'm not sure adding a betting app is going to do any favors for them, especially when it comes to regulatory. Like they sit on a fine edge right now because they do control so much dissemination of information that they are right in the crosshairs of regulatory. So adding a betting, like the prediction markets haven't even fully made their way through courts right now because there's a lot of courts that are saying these prediction markets aren't even legal in the first place because they're designed as contracts even though we all really understand it's just a way for them to get around the betting committees and the gaming commissions, right? So like that is another domino to drop, and it seems like they're a little bit distracted and not really knowing where they're going. Even the employees, the morale is really low because they're laying people off. They're openly admitting that they've made AI mistakes and that the progress hasn't been as fast as they wanted it to be, yet they're continuing to spend more and more money. Meanwhile, going back to what we just discussed, the models, no one's using their models. So like you spent all this money, you went out and hired all this really expensive talent. What do you have to show for it 6, 9, 12 months later? Well, right now, they don't have anything.
I think ending the llama misadventure is a good thing. I think Zuck's looked around and he said, you know what, Alex Karp is right. These are all commodities. They're all going to zero on value. I'm going to find something else to do.
Which is fine, but like the employees of this company need to know what they're supposed to be working on, and it seems like that's the question mark right now, right?
Yeah, true.
Like, are we working on a betting app? Are we working on, building up a cloud service platform? Are we working on building out AI frontier AI models? Like it seems to be kind of a weird area that they're in right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the nature of business, though, right? I mean, it's all there's always a new challenge, right?
Right.
And it's okay. Well, how do you what do you do to move forward?
Yeah. So to be clear, I don't want anyone to think that I'm like bearish meta. I'm not. I was holding the stock 1 week ago. I didn't immediately flip to bearish, but when I think about the framing from an investment, was the likelihood that high of them trading flat to sideways and wasting a bunch of money 2 months ago? Not really. Since then, come to find out that we haven't been making progress on the models. Zuck is saying we're not making as much progress as we wanted to. We're now making a prediction market app. And not only are we short compute, but we're also somehow simultaneously selling the compute. So all those narratives increase the likelihood to me that some of this money either has already been wasted or is going to be wasted. And so I'm just moving on to something that I think I like a little bit better, but I'm not betting on Zuck losing. Not at all. Zuck, as Dougie pointed out, has shown time and time again he knows how to run a business.
Yeah. This is one of those things where I'm like, sometimes you give your CEO a chance to be bored and go on a vision quest and try to find something new. And look, this happens all the time. Lots of times they come up with hits, but Steve Jobs had stinkers too. Like he had giant clunkers, but the Newton was a thing. Okay. Like it was a terrible product. And he basically at one point almost bet the company on it.
But how much did Jobs spend on that project that didn't pan out? Did he spend 145 billion on it?
No, there wasn't 145 billion dollars in the entire computing industry probably at the time.
But
Okay.
you understand my argument, though, is like the magnitude of the spend.
Yeah. But the magnitude of the spend is sure. But let's compare it relative to what the rest of the spend going on is. It's not like he's off on this like soul insane crusade and no one else is going off there with him like it was in the metaverse, right? In many
But
ways, he's following what everyone else is doing, trying to stay relevant.
But those other three companies already have established enterprises where they're already operating income positive by the tune of billions of dollars. Like they already have a customer list, they have revenue, and they're in the black on that business. I talked about AWS having Bedrock and all these
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of applications and harnesses on there. Like Meta would have to stand all that up. Like they're showing up to the party at 11 p.m. trying to drink super fast to catch up to everybody else who's already drunk.
Maybe, but maybe it is a quixotic quest for him, but look at another company that totally found a new niche for itself. Iran, right? CEO looked around, said, the world's doing this. We've got to change. We've got to make a move. Did it. And he's the only company now of all those Bitcoin miners that we talk about on a daily basis. So was it the right move? Who knows?
So it looks like of Iran's revenue, which is currently going down, and I think that's mostly because the Bitcoin revenue. Yeah, there you go. Almost. So it looks like about 70% of the revenue, maybe 60% of the revenue is still Bitcoin mining revenue. And you can see the ramp here in the AI revenue. Didn't they have something with their leadership team giving themselves like billions of dollars in RSUs or something like this?
I don't own them. I don't follow them. I just bring them up as an example of the CEO saying, "Hey, we're making a change," and there you go. So, who's to say Zucks can't break off a small portion of his company and say we're doing something new and different?
Sure.
And we'll see if it catches fire. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, then it's another metaverse. But metaverse failing didn't damage Meta one way or another, other than the fact that we still freaking call it Meta.
I mean, they lit a bunch of money on fire. Like
they did, but they don't care. They're still one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah, but like the stock could be doing much, much better had they not wasted $80 billion on metaverse and Reality Labs. Like, had they put those $80 billion into buybacks, like Meta holders would be a lot happier right now.
Maybe, but they're pretty happy already. So.
And then there's the glasses is the other one. I know we discussed that probably, what was that, last episode or two ago?
We haven't seen the real glasses yet. They're just showing us the toy versions. I need to find that video where he like gave like the real one to a couple of like tech insiders and celebs to try, and apparently like it's a whole other thing. Like to control the glasses, you wear a wristband and then it tracks your finger movement. So you can like your finger could be like in your pocket or something like that, or your hand can be in your pocket and it controls all the glasses and stuff. But they were like, I mean, he was saying this pair is like $250,000. They're still in the research phase. These aren't production yet. What they're releasing in production right now is basically just a toy version.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna repost the stock draft here again. Austin. Okay. should be this one. So for those who just joined or joined like in midstream, we are doing a stock draft on Wednesday, July 8th. We are going to be doing that at 10 Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. There's a Google form to fill out. We're going to send a link through StreamEast to your number so that you can be on if you want to be on. We're going to cap it at 16 people. StreamEast caps the video at 10 people simultaneously on the screen. So we'll have, probably a good chunk of us on. And then we're going to do 10 picks, trades allowed, 1 resell or rebuy. Must be able to buy it on Robinhood is sort of like the hurdle rate that we're going with. And that'll be for 11 months. And then we've got playoffs after that. So if you guys do sign up, make sure that you can come on Wednesday to at least make your picks, not necessarily be on video, but at least like be on YouTube to be in the chat to make your picks. And we can do it that way. So just wanted to shout that out. Oh, did I say AM? Yes. 10 PM Eastern time. Definitely in the night. What else did you see in the news that piqued your interest?
We had just kind of a chill week for me. I guess in personal news, I did finally get the final separation from my last company, meaning I got the Cobra information.
Nice.
Officially separated, so we're shopping for health insurance now.
Fun stuff.
You say that, but yeah,
it's always fascinating to me how we tie health insurance to employment. I always thought those were interesting mechanics of.
Well, it used to be that health insurance was like a really nice to have, and so it was a nice benefit to have, right? But then somewhere along the way, insurance became a must-have requirement for life, and we made giant health insurance companies and giant medical, like everything but the doctors got more expensive. And a lot of that goes to support research and new technology and everything as well. So it's not all bad, but I feel like we built up, because of regulation, we built up the middle man and the people taking the money out of the middle of the transaction between the patient and the doctors. And I'm not sure how you put that genie back in the bottle without going all socialist and destroying the whole system entirely. That has all the benefits that, frankly, the whole world requires. And maybe it's just that we let Europe and the rest of the world pay for its own defense, and we don't have to run up our healthcare as high. But yeah, so I'm in the middle of all that fun right now. And let's see. Yeah, just otherwise just enjoying life.
Cool. Love to hear it.
Hot AF here in Houston, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I imagine July in Houston, but it'll be a little bit cooler when
at midnight last night. It was like 89 degrees. When I got home last night at like midnight, and it was like 89 degrees and like 72% humidity. Bro, it was absolutely disgusting.
The one thing I will say about like the desert heat is like when the sun is out, you're getting fried. Like you better have water or shade within like 40-45 minutes, because it's absolutely intolerable. Like even if you're like mentally tough and just trying to tough through it. Like I've gone for runs before in the middle of the day when it's 110, and like if you're out there for longer than half an hour, you're getting yourself into trouble really quick. But when the sun goes down, when you've got no clouds in the sky, the desert can get kind of cold at night, so it does chill out overnight. I could not do the humidity of Houston. I would go crazy.
Well, you'll get a sample of that in November.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit cooler in November, though, won't
it? Fall doesn't usually start till January for us, so
Okay.
like when we're there in November, it could very well be 89, 90 degrees that day.
Okay. By the way, did you see that I've got the bricks?
I did. I love the background, bro.
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here because this was the pre-draft show here. So we will see everybody on Wednesday. We will be posting the Google form on our X and whatnot. Feel free to share it with anyone who you think might have fun with it. We'll share the format as well.
Yeah, this is not serious. There's no prize money. We're just having fun with it. It's bragging rights, silliness, get to know people in the community, in the chat. Just have fun. Just another excuse to interact and make a friend. So
exactly. And if someone picks something that's like weird and off the wall,
tell us
about it. Let's chat it up. Expand the market knowledge.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for joining, everyone. We will see you on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. All right, my guy. Oh, you left quick.